Hey everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here with another graphic novel review, where today's book is Green Lantern: The Power of Ion. Alright, so this story features Kyle Rayner as the title Green Lantern, and basically and it takes place after a story arc known as Circle of Fire, where Kyle basically defeats an enemy of his own subconscious subconscious fears of failure known as Oblivion. And basically, and after defeating Oblivion, Kyle's powers have grown, and he no longer and for a while he hasn't had the need to recharge his ring. And at the beginning of the story arc, we find out that the reason why Kyle's ring has need to be recharged is because he's tapping into the residual Green Lantern power battery energies left behind by Parallax when Hal Jordan sacrificed himself to reignite Earth's sun in during Final Night. So Kyle realizes, however, once Kyle realizes that there's still this energy that he can tap into, another supervillain, a Cordian hero, Cord, the antimatter dimension where Sinestro's yellow ring comes from. A guy who has a ring like that, Nero, is also trying to get to the energy. So Kyle bows Nero on his way to get to the sun to get the energy, and when he does, Kyle absorbs all the energy and gets near omnipotent power and changes his superhero alias to Ion. And with his new omnipotent abilities, Kyle can be basically anywhere in the universe, anywhere he wants at multiple times. And pretty much with this new power, he's going pretty much everywhere he can. Everywhere there's a disaster or some war breaking out on another planet, he's there. He's monitoring, fixing everything. And however, a side effect of the Ion power is that he no longer sleeps. So, and Kyle also does various things for his friends. First, he attempts to help John Stewart walk again, but there's actually some psychological issues that John himself needs to work through in order to use his legs again, which John's journey to regain the use of his legs is actually a very well written issue. But more on that later. Also, Kyle uses his power to restore his girlfriend Jade's natural ability to make constructs, so she no longer has to use a Green Lantern ring. So eventually Kyle's actions do get the attention of the Justice League, and they talk to him about it, particularly Superman. And Superman tells Kyle that, having these abilities is good, but there comes to a point where you're doing too much, and that in order for the universe to really survive, there needs to be, the species of the universe have to learn to be self-sufficient. And then Kyle talks to Alan Scott, the original Golden Age Green Lantern, about how this is similar to when Alan no longer needed the ring and he absorbed all the powers of the Starheart and became Sentinel. And of course, Alan gives him some good advice about what this means and about what having this power means, and how Kyle is now just trying to find his footing with it. And then Kyle finally uses his power to do something he has always wanted to do, and it is to find his father, Aaron Rayner, who we find out is actually was actually a former secret government agent known as Gabriel Vasquez. And so after getting all this advice, after seeing his dad, Kyle finally realizes what he really needs to do with this power, with the Ion power. So he goes to Oa and he reignites the central power battery. He basically takes the energy, puts it back into the battery, which helps reignite it. And he also creates a new species of Guardians, a new litter of Guardians. It's still the same Guardians, it's just now they're a bunch of infants that he intends to be raised by Ganthet, the last Guardian. And so basically, Kyle heads back to Earth, and he explains to Jade that before he officially got rid of all his power, he decided to modify his power ring. And basically the way he modified it, and this is actually really cool, is if Kyle loses his ring or someone takes it, the ring will always basically find its way back to him. Like he shows it to Jade by basically tossing it out the window, then suddenly comes flying back right back into the window to his hand. which I think is a very great ability. He also creates a reserve charge in the ring. And finally, he creates a new costume. So yeah. I would say that this is an essential Kyle Rayner story. I mean, this is basically one of the big Kyle Rayner stories that I think are important in the character's development. It also shows how this omnipotent power can almost corrupt people. I mean, in a sense, it is kind of, and I felt like this is similar to what happened to Hal Jordan when Hal originally absorbed all the central power battery energy and became Parallax. Although that was really more of the Parallax entity, why Hal went crazy. Anyways, point is, unlike Kyle, who reabsorbed all the power that Hal had, he decided to basically use to help. He still remembered that he was a hero and he could help people, although he basically acted like a god in this issue. But also there is some humility, but he still has some humility because when his friends do tell him advice, he actually listens and takes it to heart instead of just blatantly ignoring them, which I think is great. And that's one of the things that does make Kyle Rayner a very interesting character, is that he's always willing to learn from other heroes. And it's something that I think Batman even respects in Kyle. And I think mainly because Kyle is the only Green Lantern left, so he doesn't really have a Green Lantern mentor, so he uses the Heroes of Earth to help him. And I think that's good. It's great, especially since he's a legacy character and he's always willing to learn. I think that's a very important aspect. Also, I do like how at the end of the story when Kyle reveals he modified his ring, I thought that was, kind of something good that I think anyone who had been in Kyle's shoes would want to fix the ring up a little bit before they got rid of all their power. All the power, though. But also, I want to go back to what I said earlier about John Stewart learning to getting the use of his legs back. That was, I think, a very powerful issue in this arc. It's entirely focused on John Stewart, and it involves John basically reaching back into his past and kind of unlocking some memories he blocked out of a traumatic experience. And when John finally realizes and acknowledges what really happened, he is able to move on and walk again. And I thought that was a brilliant, well-written issue, and probably one of my favorite John Stewart stories, which again is ironic because I'm talking about because the main focal point of the entire arc is on Kyle. So yeah. Also, I will say that this story, even though the story is the first appearance of Ion in the Green Lantern franchise, it's not necessarily. It doesn't really. Just like when Hal Jordan first appeared and called himself Parallax, it doesn't use the words emotional entity until we don't find out about the emotional entities until Geoff Johns took over with starting with Green Lantern Rebirth. So yeah, overall, I think if you're a Kyle Rayner fan, you should definitely get this book. Also, John Stewart fan, you should get the issue in it. You should also check this out too. Honestly, this is a very fantastic, well-written story. It shows what happens when a superhero does get the power to fix almost everything. Does that make them a god? Do they keep the power? Do they give it up? It's very good. It's fantastically written. So overall, Kyle Rayner fan, John Stewart. If you're a Kyle Rayner fan and you also like John Stewart, you should definitely pick this up. I honestly bought it. This edition is out of print though. You can probably find some copies on eBay and Amazon for like $20, or you can just get the entire story arc digitally, which should be available on Comixology. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for staying subscribed to my channel, even though it's been a while since I've uploaded a video. Also, check out my other graphic novel reviews. I'm Spider-Man 1991 saying, see you later.